Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's AI Mastermind for Business Leaders. It is a real pleasure to have the opportunity to host this event. I'm happy to see you taking the time to learn about AI and how it can impact you and your business. Today, we're going to be focusing on effortless AI personalization for brands and how you can achieve more in less time with AI. Our agenda for today's lunchtime. So, why personalization matters for you and your brand, how you can boost productivity with AI. Thirdly, I'm excited to do a showcase of an AI assistant that I created for myself for AI Integration Institute, which helps me create a week's worth of content for LinkedIn. And then finally, we'll do a Q&A and work on next steps. So, a little introduction of me and why I might be qualified to host this webinar for you today. My name is Nino Giambalvo. I've had over a decade in tech and leadership roles. I've dedicated my career to helping businesses leverage technology. This was much before AI was around in the way that it is now, but the same purpose, try to measure growth and impact using technology. And now my job is to help you tap into the potential of AI for your business growth by focusing on practical, actionable AI strategies that align with your business. As you can see, there's a little timeline on screen of my kind of journey. I founded my first business in 2014, and this year is the year that I founded AI Integration Institute. So not bad, 2 businesses in 10 years. Now we'll focus on what is personalization. So personalization is the process of tailoring experiences, content, and interactions to individual customer preferences, their needs, or their behaviors. So in practice, this could be something as simple as, their name on the top of a email or letter. When was the last time that you received an email or letter that said, "Dear customer"? Have we gone beyond the point of that generalization, even in that simple form? So why does personalization matter? I decided to do some research on this topic and pull out some stats. And according to a report by McKinsey at the end of 2023, 71% of customers expect personalization. And actually 76% get frustrated if it doesn't happen. This may mean that, you get mistargeted by something. Maybe, I've seen very recently in my YouTube ads on the TV, I've been getting a lot of women's products, talking about menopause. Unfortunately, I'm not able to experience menopause. Or fortunately, I should say, I'm not able to experience menopause, but that is mistargeting. And therefore, I could get frustrated that, why are they advertising, something that is more targeted to women, firstly, and women, in their 40s and their 50s. So if you were selling products and services this way, what would it mean if you were able to personalize? So effective personalization can boost revenue by 5 to 15%, and actually increase marketing ROI, which is return on investment, by 10 to 30%. This means if you were running, say, 2 campaigns, one that is very general towards your audience and another that is very specific to a targeted subgroup of your audience, you'll see a much better return on that marketing spend with the personalized segment versus the general segment. So why doesn't everyone just personalize everything? It sounds like a good idea, right? Well, personalization is actually very challenging. So manual personalization is very, very time consuming. Imagine having to personally write 1,000 emails, all going to different customers with different names at different businesses in different industries, all that have bought a very different product from you. How do you personalize that manually? That's something that small teams would find nearly impossible to go into that level of detail. So one of the challenges is that scaling personalization is very challenging. Reaching thousands of individuals with personalized efforts is not the way. Basically, it's just not possible. I added a little icon in here, a little graphic in here to show that it's an uphill struggle. And honestly, if you're a new business and you're trying to reach your customers, personalization may be easy for you to do manually if you only have 4 or 5 customers. But what happens when you have 100? 200, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. How possible is it to personalize your messages to those individuals? Uncertainty from your customer around what it is that you sell or who your target audience is. And ultimately, this can create a disconnect from your brand. So I hear you asking, what can we do? What can AI do to help us? So firstly, this is just a very small subset of all the things that AI can help you do around personalization. But one of the key ones that comes to mind is around content creation. So AI generating content for different customer groups, ultimately saving you time and effort. So that means if you want to target, an advert towards new customers versus returning customers, you can use AI to make each of those individual messages feel relevant to the target audience, which is really, really important when it comes to personalization. AI allows personalization to be scalable much more effortlessly than trying to run it manually. This means it can help deliver personalized product recommendations or targeted messages and emails to large audiences in seconds. And another really key use case that we've seen quite a lot of in these kind of early days and early kind of moments of AI in business is personalized customer support. So AI being able to respond to customers' questions in real time, using potentially, the data that the individual business has on that customer and their purchase history to really tailor the support that they get, make it relevant to the services and products that they maybe have purchased in the past, and also, suggesting new ones to them based on that history. So just a few ways. Is there any other ways that you feel yourself that you have tried to personalize using AI? Perfect. Thank you very much, Peter, for your comment. He said that he's been able to use AI to tailor emails to new customers based on the industry that they're in, which is a fantastic use case. And maybe we'll be able to show some of this later in the demonstration. So I really like to move on to some of the do's and don'ts of AI within personalization. I don't mean to oversimplify this topic. It is quite a complex topic, but for beginners' purpose, here are a few. It's important to clearly define those groups. The second do is to keep your brand voice consistent. So, as it stands at the moment, people will see the content that you put out. They expect to be spoken to in a certain way with a certain type of language. A very, very common issue and challenge that people have with AI that their content sounds robotic. And you might have seen maybe on LinkedIn, in other places, that some of the content is very, very clearly AI generated. And this doesn't do a very good job at showcasing the potential and the power of AI. The third is that, in order to personalize, we should set really clear business goals. Implementing AI without a purpose can cause you a lot of headaches, especially if you don't clearly understand how to leverage AI within your business. Doing it without a purpose can lead you down a rabbit hole. You could waste resources, waste money, waste time of your employees, and ultimately have a negative impact on your perception and the business's perception of AI. Fourthly, make sure to review and refine AI content regularly. In my practices at the moment, I will use AI as an assistant, not as a replacement for myself. We can use AI to steer the process of creating content, but ultimately the final approval should come with human oversight. So one of the don'ts is do not rely just on AI. Make sure that there are humans in the loop in your content creation process to make sure that the quality and the brand is all aligned with where you want to do. And finally, respect privacy and data sensitivity. You may have data on individual people, your clients, your customers that may have purchased different things. Maybe certain things about them that isn't public knowledge and doesn't want to be shared. So by using that data in messaging or in content that you create, you may offend, you may alienate your customers. So just be aware of it. Make sure that the data that you're using for this personalization won't feel intrusive for the individual on the receiving end. Of course, there are many, many more do's and don'ts, and I'm happy to discuss any challenges that people might have at the end of the session. The next part of today's webinar, I would really love to tell you a little bit more about my LinkedIn creation process. So far we've covered what is personalization, why it matters and why it's challenging, why it's important to try to use AI to solve some of these challenges, and some do's and don'ts. Many of you may be sitting here looking and saying, okay, this is all great in theory, but how does this work in practice? So today I would like to show you my LinkedIn weekly campaign assistant. You will see how a personalized AI assistant helps to plan and create a week's worth of content for me and my organization based on a specific audience segment. Why does this matter? So I would like to show you that by creating a tailored system, LinkedIn posts can be created much more effectively, much more efficiently, ultimately saving time and making it much easier to scale. So we can generate engaging on-brand content quickly and ensure that it resonates with different types of our following. And hopefully, one of the key takeaways is an understanding of how AI can be used for content creation, but also how AI can help personalize content, making it effective to use on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis. So the next step, I will share my screen and bring up ChatGPT, which is a generative AI large language model, which many of you, I'm sure, will be aware of. So on screen is my ChatGPT. This is a pre-configured, kind of instructed AI that knows about AI Integration Institute, knows about our target audience, and knows about the kind of services and offering that we put together. So let's get started. The first question that it asks is the idea or theme that I'd like to focus on this week. So one of my considerations when I was building this tool was that a lot of the time I do have an idea of something that I'd like to educate my audience on. And ultimately, what I needed was a tool that would allow me to kind of like break up that idea into smaller chunks and over the course of a week, try to tell a story to educate and help the individual and my audience visualize how AI can help them. So let's start with a new idea. I didn't actually have anything pre-prepared. I would like to put this out to the audience. Let's see if we get any examples come through. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so there's just been a comment come through from Petros that says, how to get buy-in from stakeholders when you're able to use AI yourself in your role. So that's actually a really good idea. So let's see what ChatGPT says. So the idea that, you know, individual people within your organization, maybe yourself, maybe one of your colleagues, has been using AI and has been sort of playing around with some tools, and it's serviced them, it's helped them, it's made them more productive, it's saved them time in their day-to-day work. But really, we want to get buy-in across the organization. So let's see what it tells us. Great. Focus on how to get buy-in from stakeholders when you're able to use AI yourself in your role is a highly relevant and empowering. It aligns well with AI Integration Institute's mission to make AI accessible for practical, for various roles within SMEs. This topic is likely to resonate deeply with decision makers and team leads who may be struggling with resistance or skepticism around AI adoption. So it actually really has captured the essence of the idea. And thank you again to Petros for sharing that with us. What it does now is it looks through its knowledge base. So its knowledge of its understanding of AI Integration Institute, which is the organization, to find relevant pain points that our audience, our target audience, might feel around this topic. So based on this theme, here are relevant pain points. So skepticism about AI's ROI. Many stakeholders worry about the costs associated with AI, especially if its value is not immediately visible. Fear of disruption, so often concerned about how AI can change roles or disrupt current workflows. Thirdly, resistance to change. So teams and stakeholders may be hesitant to change existing ways of working, particularly if they lack hands-on experience with AI. And lastly, overwhelmed by technical details. So non-technical stakeholders may feel intimidated by AI, finding it difficult to see its practical applications. So do any of these pain points resonate with any of our audience today? If so, please just put a W in the chat. And always good to see Peter responding. Thank you. Yep, that is something that does resonate with you. Specifically, you've said around overwhelmed by technical details. Okay, that's very interesting. So let's see then whether this will create. So I think it's true, I think that these are the relevant pain points of our audience around this topic. What it will do now is it creates a weekly campaign to just kind of map out this topic, how we could break it down, how we might be able to educate our audience around this idea. So we start Monday with a poll. So capture interest and gauge your audience experience with AI buy-in challenges. What is the biggest hurdle to gaining stakeholder buy-in in your AI in your company? So the options that it gives is lack of understanding of AI's benefits, concerns about AI disrupting current workflows, budget constraints and ROI concerns, resistance to change within the team. So you can kind of see that it's already started to align with one, the topic, two, the pain points that we highlighted that would be relevant to our audience. Cool, what do we have next? So on Tuesday, it's now suggesting that we create an educational article, so provide actionable insights to effectively presenting AI's benefits to stakeholders. So the article title that it is given to us is 5 practical tips for gaining stakeholder buy-in for AI projects in your role. This might be a bit generic, but that is something that we can refine. On Wednesday, it's suggesting a video demonstration. On Thursday, it's suggesting a case study with some practical insights. What I'd like to do is maybe refine this, because the idea of the buy-in is something that needs to be a bit more refined, a bit more nuanced. How does the audience learn about this topic and learn about this topic over the course of the week? Because again, we want to make sure that it aligns with what we're trying to do, which is ultimately to educate. So great question. Here's how the content sequence is designed to guide the audience through the learning about stakeholder buy-in for AI, making topic digestible, engaging. Discovering common challenges is the first part. Introducing practical tips is the second part. Showing a practical example. Reinforcing the real-world success stories, and then consolidating and reinforcing the key ideas. So I think actually it has captured quite effectively this idea that we want to educate the audience over a number of pieces of content. And ultimately, it's going to try and tell a story to educate over the course of the week. So let's say, yes, that we want to continue. What will happen now is it will try to generate and draft each version, right? So by day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the content. So the format that it does this in is something that I want to pay particular attention to, because everyone likes to output their content in different formats, in different ways. Maybe it aligns more with your voice, with your brand. And so the fact that we're able to customize this is something that I'd like to highlight. So on Monday, it knows that we're going to be doing a poll. It gives us the poll question. It gives us the options. It gives us the LinkedIn promotional post. It also gives us a first comment. It also knows that I'm likely to be posting this from the AI Integration Institute LinkedIn page, and that we should probably have a reposting strategy from my personal. So plan to repost the poll from your personal midweek, add in a reflection such as, it's interesting to see how many people are focused on the same obstacles. What do you think makes buy-in for AI so challenging? Which again, really resonates with the topic of the conversation. So again, you're then happy with that item of content. You can refine it, say, oh, actually, I don't like the angle. Maybe we should give another option. maybe you don't like the first comment, you can refine. It then proceeds. You say, right, it's guiding me through and saying, do you want to proceed to the next one? The next item of content in the list, which for us is the educational article. So the focus, 5 practical tips for gaining stakeholder buy-in for AI projects in your role. Introduction, gives a main body, speak their language. Tip, when presenting AI's potential, avoid jargon and overly technical terms. Focus instead on direct benefits that resonate with your audience goals. How to frame AI benefits in terms of business outcomes like increased productivity or cost cutting, rather than algorithmic specifics. For example, with this AI tool, our team can save 20% of time spent on this specific task. And as you can see, this content is really, really well aligned with my brand, with what I do, with the services that I offer, with the type of education that I'm trying to do. So it continues, it creates the full article. It also provides the call to action, provides again the LinkedIn promotional post, and a reposting strategy to go with it. Again, if we were to continue, it would now move on to a video, which I hope it has been set up to actually produce a script, which is you can see here. So how to present AI's value to stakeholders without the technical jargon. So hi everyone, today we're going to show you how to present AI's value to stakeholders without diving into technical details. Let's look at how you can frame AI's benefits in a way that everyone can understand and support. It then gives us visuals and dialogue for the video, which is incredible. So fantastic. So hopefully people can really start to see the benefits of this and actually the ease. I mean, we've been doing this presentation for maybe about 10 minutes and we're already on the 3rd piece of content in the week. We have scripts, we have an article, we have call to action, we have LinkedIn posts, we have reposts and strategies. And again, this just keeps continuing. So the idea here is that whenever I go to create content for my LinkedIn, I have a tool that's personalized to my business that follows the process and the ideas and the kind of the format that I'd like to use, and ultimately assist me in executing and crafting that content in a fraction of the time. This would take me probably more than 2 days before I created this tool. And actually, like, I was inconsistent with posting because it takes too long and there's so many other things to do. This is so much easier that actually it makes this kind of stuff accessible, as well as consistent and thorough and consistent with my brand. And we will start a Q&A. So what do people think about this demonstration? Do you think that you would be able to use AI for content creation or for personalization yourself? Happy to share your thoughts. So one of the comments that came in from Petros is that this doesn't necessarily feel accessible. What you may have seen is something that you maybe haven't seen before. Someone being able to produce the quality and depth of content like this is not something that you see every day. And so maybe this surprises you. Maybe this surprises you how effective AI can be. But ultimately, this is accessible to everyone. The gap is in people having the desire, mainly, to try it and play with it for themselves. But secondly is the education. It's the AI literacy. It's the how do I apply AI and have a good enough understanding of AI in order to be able to apply it using my expertise, using my real world experience, and apply it to my job. So I hope that covers a little bit more about the accessibility part of AI. That's the end of the Q&A for today. Next, we talk about why now. So ultimately, AI is here. It's already transforming businesses. The question isn't whether AI will impact you and your industry. It's whether you will lead the charge. And ultimately, the people that don't will get left behind. This is a technology revolution. I've heard many people say this in all kinds of different ways. Some people saying, this is like the new email. There was a time when people didn't know how to use email, and suddenly you had some early adopters and they're like, guys, this is amazing, you should use this. And most people are like, not interested. Like, we can use fax, we have other means of communication. Suddenly it's indispensable. This will be the same with AI. It will be indispensable to every single organization. So I believe that you have two options. You can lead, stay ahead of the curve, start to bring AI into your organization, educate your employees, start to make it more accessible for people within your organization to leverage, or you can wait. And ultimately, your competitors will use AI to get ahead, do things faster, more productive, streamline their costs, scale. And ultimately, this window of opportunity is here. It won't be open forever. AI has been around for around 18 months in a real kind of like hit in the mainstream. And it will only continue to do so, and it will only continue to improve. And so now is the time. Now is the time to get ahead. Now is the time to get on top of implementing it into your organization. So, if today's session has sparked an interest for you, if you're interested in how AI can take your organization and your work to the next level, whether it's through personalization or through another means, you could book a strategy session with me. We could talk AI within your organization. We also offer the ability to create your own customized AI role plan, which is a breakdown of every single responsibility within your role and how AI can help support that. We'll also try to overcome your biggest challenge using AI. So we'll do a live demonstration and ultimately give you actionable next steps for you to use in this journey, in this AI journey. So please feel free to scan the QR code on screen. I have limited availability for this week. If not, you can put some time in for next week. I will also share a link in the chat if anyone is interested in booking a time and they're not able to access it through the QR code. Fantastic. And finally, thank you all for listening. It's been a real pleasure. For everyone who was live and interacted, I appreciate you. For everyone watching the replay, I hope this has been beneficial to you. If you have any questions, if you've learned anything, if you have a gem from this session that you're going to take and be able to use moving forward, I'd love to hear about it. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Or as I say, if you could book a strategy session with me, we can deep dive into how AI can unlock the potential of your business. Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, Petros. Great to see you here today.